the truth. It's the truth. It's the true kind of love. It's the truth. It's the truth. It's the true kind of love.
There was a slight error when it comes to the schedules of these last 2 weeks, because when I was picking the episodes, I left out this episode, not realizing of what I said earlier in this marathon in my first review of Steven Universe, is that I was going to tackle all the episodes of Future, and I honestly went a little too overwhelmed by recognizing that I was gonna skip this episode, because out of all the Steven Universe Future episodes, this one felt the least for me to review, and I had to make the choice of making today a double upload to review a very special episode and Little Graduation later on. Well, to be perfectly real with you, I've went this far when it comes to the amount of episodes that I reviewed, and when it comes to this, after watching this episode, it's literally the same thing when it came to my miscellaneous video of the 10 episodes or 9 episodes of Steven Universe that I ended up skipping. A very special episode centers around Steven being in 2 places that he can't keep track of, and this centers around him being really stressed out when it comes to his fusions with Paul and Garnet separately. If I'm gonna be honest with you, the original opinions that I had of this episode is that I thought that this was going to be a filler episode and nothing more. Similar to most of the filler episodes from the Beach City episodes in the original, and when it comes to a couple of filler episodes from this, I really feel like that this is the most filler episode out of them all, but it made me realize that this is the most screen time we're ever gonna get involving Rainbow Quartz 2.0 and Sunstone, which I honestly feel like that this is the biggest factor of the entire episode involving the fusions of those, since that they had less screen time in comparison to Smoky Quartz through the majority of this and the epilogue and the original. I'm being honest that after watching this episode and paying attention to it a lot more closely, this is honestly the highlight of the episode. Rainbow Quartz 2.0 and Sunstone gain the most screen time and having the entire episode to themselves, which feels fan service for the sake of doing fan service for people who really enjoyed the fusion of Steven and Garnet and Steven and Paul. And after thinking about it, it really shows that what Steven needs to learn are doing 2 things at once, and this has nothing to do with Steven's pink powers. This filler episode feels a lot more justifiable the more I remembered it. This episode really feels like an over-exaggeration when it comes to Paul's reactions, and the fact that she's having a difficult time taking care of Onion, and to be honest, for how Onion was portrayed in his episodes, this is honestly the best that he has ever gotten, mainly the fact that the comedy involving Paul honestly works in the favor of how Onion is portrayed. Granted, I still do not like Onion, but this is the closest I can give him credit for. The moral of the episode is that you shouldn't do 2 things at once and only focus 1 thing at once when it comes to handling your schedules, but for me personally, every time I think about Rainbow Quartz 2.0 and Sunstone, this is honestly the closest we're ever going to see them do much, knowing forward that they're never going to appear later on in this epilogue. Like, I really feel like that this episode back then was mainly how it was structured on being a filler episode in favor of other episode ideals that would have suited for the amount of episodes that Future had, but if you ask me, if the purpose of an episode is to be a fan service episode involving Rainbow Quartz 2.0 and Sunstone, then I don't really have anything against it, but this episode isn't really one of my favorites. The Titantine song by Rainbow Quartz 2.0 isn't bad, but I found the other Future songs better. I'm not saying that it's badly lyricked, I just feel like that for how this episode is structured, for the right reasons, it wasn't enough to make me feel invested and appreciate the song itself. I'm just saying, if I actually didn't review the other Future episodes, you might understand as to why I prefer their songs over this. For how my miscellaneous video was a last minute decision, this also became a last minute decision considering that I want to review all the episodes from the main series in the epilogue. I'm just saying that my point of view of these episodes are mostly indifferent for how I viewed them when I first set up the episodes in release order or chronological order for the sake of making this marathon work. And believe me, with today being a double upload similar to the double uploads that I did back in June and July, along with the miscellaneous video that I ended up uploading on the same day as Letters to Lars, I almost ended up like Steven in this episode. But then again, I really wanted this marathon to cover nearly everything involving Steven Universe when it comes to episodes. So with that being said, I'm giving this episode a 6 out of 10. Not one of my favorites, but after looking into it, it really feels like that the miscellaneous video and including this at the last minute is honestly the best choice, so I can actually review all of the episodes from the main series and the epilogue. You can't deny that once I'm done with these episodes, my reward of it all is satisfaction. You